everyone! Thanks so much for being here with me today for today's reading. Today we are going to be looking at what are people saying about you behind your back? What are people talking about? How do people view you? I hope you're excited. I'm excited. Sometimes I think these readings can be good because obviously we are never going to be masterminds or mind readers, and sometimes we can get other people's perceptions of us pretty wrong, and that can cause some miscommunications as well in our life. So my hope with today's video is that you have a better understanding of how the people around you see you, and it is important to keep in mind that we are going to be reading based on other people's perceptions of you. So this is obviously not going to probably resonate 110% to how you actually are in real life because you know yourself the best, but hopefully people are seeing you to a pretty close light to where you are, and if not, hopefully you can see what could maybe be improved or whether these people just aren't worth your business. But with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get started by showing you one card from each pile. So let me move this mic up, angled up, so hopefully you can hear me. For pile 1, you chose the Poet. Very beautiful, very pretty card. For pile 2, you guys chose Eros. Or you will choose Eros, depending on what you choose. And pile 3, you guys have the Empty Room. Okay. There is, once again, not a breakdown for today's reading, and the tarot we are going to be using is actually the sister tarot to the deck that I used in the last reading. This is the Cosma Visions Oracle, so it's not technically a tarot deck. There is a hair. It's not technically a tarot deck, but it's very, very, very similar to a traditional tarot deck, and I thought it would be cool to use it today. So that's the tarot, but there's not a breakdown. There's not a breakdown for today's reading, mainly because I kind of like not having a set, strict breakdown. Timestamps will be listed in the description down below, as well as all the decks used in today's video. And without further ado, that's all I have for you guys. I'll see you at your pile. Bye! Hello, pile 1! Thanks so much for being here. If you chose pile 1 and the Poet, then that's how you know you made it to the right reading. I'm gonna let the Poet live right over here just for a little bit while we go into your first oracles. So let's go ahead and spread these out. Your first card, you got the Cacao. Very pretty. The Cacao. Then we have the Evil Eye, and this says protection and jealousy. We have the Cosmic Egg. Beautiful card. I'm going to put that like that. And for your final oracle, we have the Peony, and this says worthiness. Or it says worthy, sorry, not worthiness, worthy. Beautiful. Okay. Let's have a little chit chat, pile 1, because oh my gosh. I want to say just right off the bat, there's not a whole bunch of people saying bad things about you guys. You guys actually have a really good reputation right now. And we'll get into this later with the Evil Eye, but I do think that there are a couple people that are a little sour about the success you're reaping or about your shift in persona or your way of living. So let's talk about this. Let's break it down. Because, okay, I feel like you guys have recently made a shift in your belief system about yourself that is now allowing you to release a lot of weight that has kept you down or kept you just weighted throughout your life. And now you're releasing that and you're returning to this childlike fun, this childlike innocence, and you're just happier. You're radiating confidence. You're so creative right now. You're coming up with brilliant ideas. You're motivated to start working on things, and you're changing old patterns and old systems that no longer work for you, and you're blooming into a beautiful person and a beautiful human being who is reaching copious amounts of success. And here's the thing. I think that a lot of people doubted you in the past with Peony and Worthy. I feel like that is one of the core wounds that you guys deal with throughout this life, or that you have dealt with up to this point now, or are still dealing with. I think a lot of people saw how bright you shined when you were younger, and it was almost like they couldn't handle the thought of you doing better than them, so they tried to keep you small or keep you down or make you feel like you weren't special or you weren't talented. And so you grew up with all of these beliefs about yourself that you came to realize are not true, and they are just other people's projections. And you're shedding that, and you're becoming who you always were and who you're always meant to become. And that is worthy. You are worthy, Pile 1. You are worthy of reaping all of the success that you want in this life. And I think whatever you've been doing recently is proving people wrong. I think, like, I'm seeing a doghouse, so I feel like some people feel like they're in the doghouse right now because you're on this big glow up transformation, and they're like, ooh, I treated them badly. Ooh, I said this about them. Ooh, yikes, I shouldn't have done that because now they're popping off, you know? I feel like when people talk about you, they're like, have you seen all the work that Pile 1 has been putting into their endeavors? Have you seen how dedicated they've been recently? Have you seen how they've been nurturing themselves, putting themselves on top? Have you seen that change? Some of these people can't even pinpoint what it is that is different about you, but they know that you're going through a change because your energy doesn't feel the same anymore. You've left whatever wasn't working for you in your energy behind. And it's almost like this snake is protecting the aura, or like your goodness inside, and you're no longer letting anyone try and tear that down, because it's no longer about doing things to feel worthy, because now it's an inherent belief inside of yourself. And when you know for sure, without a doubt in your mind, that you are worthy of anything you want, no one can take that from you. And it's like, maybe there have been people in the past with this evil eye and jealousy where they've tried to make digs at you or just get you down, like knock you off your high horse or whatever. I hate that saying. But now people are realizing they can't do that to you anymore, because A, you're not going to react the same, and B, you're not going to react at all, really, because you're just brushing everything off and you've got a goal in sight. You have a goal for your future, what your life looks like, who you want to be, and that's what people can pinpoint right now. They can't pinpoint like an insecurity, because there's not any insecurities for you right now. You guys are really rising to the top and rising to the occasion. I think those that are close to you are so proud of who you are becoming. They're seeing you break out of your shell or shed your skin, shed your old snake skin, and become a new being. And it's like, I want to get emotional. Like, they are seeing you turn into who they've always seen you as on the inside. And they are so proud to be around you. Like, if there's a lover, if there's a good friend, or close family members, they are so proud to see all that you've become, despite all the challenges you've faced. People feel like you make them remember life's simple pleasures. I think you guys are not the type to go to extremes anymore, and I want to say anymore because I feel like this group has struggled to find balance for a really long time, and now that the pendulum, like, you've gotten a hold of the pendulum and it's no longer swinging and creating chaos, you've gotten it aligned to where it's moving forward or just barely swaying, and people admire the balance and the stability that you've created. There's also something like, I don't know if you guys eat a lot of sweets. People talk about that, or they think you have a very sweet personality. Like, you're a pleasure to be around. When people leave your home, they feel recharged. They feel filled up. They feel like it's a treat to be around you. Like, your energy brings them happiness. I think you encourage people to see the better sides of themselves and encourage people to see the better sides of the world. And even like I'm seeing a scenario in my head where someone was maybe talking about things that you just weren't really happy to have a conversation about. Like maybe it was a little bit of drama, or maybe it was like gossip. And when you're protecting your energy and protecting other people's energy by choosing to not participate in conversations like that, I think people might feel a little threatened when you kind of take a step back from conversations like that, because it shows them like, oh, I don't have to participate in these lower vibration energies anymore. Like, I don't need to gossip to have friends. I don't need to participate in things that aren't me. You're so strong in who you are that it makes people question why they are the way they are in the best way possible. It like almost backhand inspires people to do better and be a better version of themselves. I think there are some people that want access to your energy that maybe don't have it anymore. And it's genuinely because you're being so protective over your worthiness and over your feeling of worth that you're not allowing them to come in with their same tricks and games. And now they're feeling like they fumbled the bag, or they're feeling resentful towards you because you are putting yourself first. You also remind people to stay compassionate and to remember that you never know what other people are going through, and everyone is inherently worthy, you know? Maybe you guys have a long backstory or a difficult past that you've emerged from, and now that you are really close to being done with healing, or you're just in a really good spot in your healing journey, I think people are realizing that the assumptions or the projections that they placed on you before you were healed or before you could get help were really selfish and arrogant. Like, there might have been people who didn't believe that you went through difficult things in your past, or didn't believe the severity of situations you went through. And so they played you off as being, or they wrote you off as being naive or being an attention seeker or something like that, which only probably like hurt your worth even more, because these people weren't supportive to you when you really needed it. And now you're showing those people like, I didn't need you all along. And even though I know my truth and I know this happened to me and you can't take that experience away from me, like, you can't have energy to me anymore. You can't have access to my energy anymore because you didn't treat me with respect when I was vulnerable with you. There is an element of respect. Like, you guys are no longer asking, you're demanding respect. And not in a toxic way, but you're not being a pushover anymore with your boundaries, and you're not just letting anyone willy-nilly come in and be buddy-buddy with you. It's almost like you're in your reputation era, because like, just with the snake, and I just heard big reputation. You're morphing into the happiest version of yourself, and that definitely does have people on the sidelines upset that they can't access you like they used to, or they can't come in and out like they used to all the time. You're kind of putting your foot down, and the people who get it and respect you and love you and want to be around your energy, that's fine for them. They can compromise with you, they can work with you, they can respect your boundaries. But it's these other people that are getting upset and jealous and calling you names behind your back because you are not taking crap anymore from them. It's also like, I don't know, I just heard like, you guys are looking good right now. You maybe have been going to the gym, and even if you're not, I feel like you have naturally been losing a little bit of weight, and it's because you're not under a whole bunch of stress. And even if you're not trying to lose weight, you could be like gaining muscle really easily, or gaining weight in the right areas. Whatever you admire about your body, like, it looks so good right now. I just want to say your aesthetics are very pleasing to other people right now. And I just feel like Spirit is kind of shining a spotlight on you, because they know you're not letting just anyone willy-nilly come in. And so people are like coming out of the woodworks to be like, hey, remember me? Oh my gosh, remember when we like shared that one night and I accidentally ghosted you? But who cares about ghosting you? Like, that's, you are being spotlighted right now so that all these people come out of the woodwork and they start trying to gain your favor again, but then they're getting their karma because you have boundaries now, you know your worth, and you're not letting them get close to you. But everyone who loves and respects you is so happy for your transformation and your glow up and the respect you have developed for yourself. They are so happy to see that for you. And they're just excited. They are your biggest cheerleaders. They just want you to know that they love you, and they're just so excited to see you morph into all that you're meant to become. Okay, that was really good. That was a good first little bit. I hope that's making sense. Let's go ahead, pull out the tarot, do a little shuffles. How's your day going, guys? Mine is going well. I just got back from a little trippy trip, and it was fun. Just gonna shuffle one more time. Here's your daily reminder to go out into nature once a week or once a day, whatever works best for you, because it is so healing. But okay, Spirit, what do other people say about pile 1 behind their back? What are people saying about pile 1 behind their back? Spirit. Okay, we have the Vessel. What are people saying about pile 1 behind their back? We have the 8 of Lotuses, Sacrifice. What are people saying about pile 1 behind their back? And the Crow reversed. Okay. Definitely gonna need a guidebook for this because these are all different. With the Vessel, I think this is talking about something your close friends, family, or relatives, whatever have you, they can tell something is going on inside of you that you're not quite opening up about, or there's something that's troubling you, some sort of depression, or there's something in your life that's kind of draining your energy, and people don't want to pry to understand what exactly is bothering you, but they just want you to know that they're here for you, and anytime you're ready to open up, they will. I think when people talk about you, they do talk about how your demeanor might have changed a little bit. You might be a little more quiet right now, and it might just be because you're going through all these huge transformations and you're just very focused on things right now. But I think close people who know you well know that there's something not right now, and they know you're gonna get out of it, but they just, when they talk with like mutual friends, like maybe you guys have a really close-knit social group or social circle, and your friends are just talking about how they want to support you, they want to be there for you, but they don't know how to talk about it with you, or they just want you to know that when you're ready, they will be there at the drop of a hat for anything that you want. You have some really good friends, family members around you. If you're walking away from something right now, like a relationship or a job, or you're planning on walking away, I think people are definitely talking about that. I think people are saying this, like going along with the Vessel, I think walking away from this thing that's draining you. Maybe you guys are working too hard at work or a sport, or some sort of commitment, and maybe they see you as a perfectionist, so it's like they know you don't want to walk away, but they know it's best for you, and so they are encouraging you to make this decision, and they think it's the best for you to do. And no one is going to be mad at you for this decision. I feel like that's really important to say right now. I feel like if you need to talk to people about this, they're going to be extremely understanding, or if you just need to take a weight off of your plate or cancel a couple commitments, I think people are definitely going to understand. They're not going to see you as just trying to be lazy or get out of work or whatever. they genuinely see you underwater right now and they want to help bring you to the surface to get a few breaths of air. The sacrifice represents the hanged man in traditional tarot. And I feel like you guys are struggling to let go of control. I think people do see you as pretty perfectionistic, or like almost tying your worth to your productivity. Sometimes that this is what other people think of you guys, okay? I'm not saying that's 100% true, but this is what other people are saying. And I feel like they want you to know that you can't do it all. That's how you burn yourself out. And there's just sacrifices that need to be made. And I think you're scared to release control or to allow things to happen how they will. I think you guys are trying to be really strategic about things because you don't want to let yourself down and you don't want to let other people down as well. But sometimes the best thing you can do is just start over from ground zero and work your way up. Because if things aren't working right now, why would you stay in a situation that is unhealthy or that is draining your energy? It's almost like, I'm gonna show you this, hold on. So do you see how it's two hands like touching each other? One's colorful and the other's not. I feel like there's two sides of you that you're dealing with, the more practical, logical side of you and the more creative, free-flowing, feminine energy side of you that just wants to have fun and relax and be creative. And people just don't want you to have to be so strict all the time about certain things. If it's a boundary that is really important to you, that's not what I'm talking about. I feel like this is like, for example, maybe you guys follow a really strict diet, and when you hang out with your friends, maybe they want to go to like a bar during the day or like a burger joint or something, go catch pizza and a movie. And when your friends are around you, it kind of feels difficult to be around you because you're so strict with your diet that it feels like you don't take a break to have fun with them. It feels like you're always tying some sort of work or productivity when it's like your friends just want to have fun with you, or this person or whoever you know this is about, they just want to have fun instead of things having to be work all the time. And the last card is kind of a bitter message. I don't really like delivering this. The Crow reversed, I think there are some people who are looking at your goals and calling them unrealistic, and that just goes back to like, you remember when we were talking about people seeing you as like less than, or like you're never gonna achieve what you put your mind to. Sometimes there are people that you will never convince your dreams of until you actually do it, until they see it happen. And some people are just going to be bitter and mope and grope about you till the end of time just because they just don't like you and they don't want to visit what's making them not like you, inside. And I think the Crow reversed is just a reminder to you that sometimes you can't please everyone, and no matter what you do or how you prove yourself, it might not be enough for some people, and that's not your fault. That is entirely to do with other people, and that's why it's important to not base your worth off what other people say or what other people think about you or your work, because at the end of the day, what you think about you and your productivity and your life, that's all that matters. It doesn't matter what other people say. What matters is you and your close family, relatives, siblings, lovers, friends, etc. Okay, pile 1. Let's finish off this reading with your closing advice or your closing message, and we have the Poet. I think the Poet is just saying you're allowed to be kind in a cruel world, and that doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. You're allowed to be a sensitive being. You're allowed to be scared even. Like, this group is full of artists. This group is full of tender people who feel things deeply, who have experienced the highs and lows of life, or American football as Riverdale puts it. And it's just a reminder, like, Spirit doesn't want you to lose your inner light and what makes you, you. Okay, pile 1, that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, feel free to give me a like, comment, subscribe, or none. All of it or none. I can't force you to do anything, and I would never force you to do anything. But pile 1, that's all I have for you today. I'll see you next time, maybe. I hope you enjoyed the video. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Bye-bye. Hey, pile 2, thanks so much for being here with me today for your reading. If you chose the Eros card, then you made it to pile 2. Welcome. Thanks so much for being here. I'm going to put that right over here for it to live, because that is our very last card. Let's go ahead and pull out the oracles so you know what we're working with here today. So, for your first card, we got the Scorpion. Feel like I might have some Scorpios in this group. Some Scorpios will choose this pile. And then, ironically, your second card is also the Scorpion. This is from a completely different deck. Isn't that so funny? And this says, Formidable Guardian and Safeguard. Okay. And then, your third card, we've got the Peacock. Love the colors on this card. Love the colors on a peacock anyway. Very pretty bird. And then, if I can get these lined up, your last card is King Protea with Courage and Transformation. King Protea or King Protea, one of those. All right. So, either this group is really shy, or if you're in a new environment and you're getting to know new people, these people think you're shy right now because we've got double Scorpions here, you know? I just get a really quiet vibe from this group, or just the silent sort of sultry, sulking, like, you guys either are emo, were emo, or alternative, goth, etc. You guys have a different sort of vibe about you. I'm hearing Tim Burton, so you guys might have that, like, odd, weird, darker style to your art, or maybe that's just your aesthetic. You like dark clothes, or you like goth music, or just really alternative, scorpionic sort of art and energy, which would be kind of that nostalgic, sad, broody, angsty sort of music, or like, I'm seeing like bloody paintings, like not painting with blood, although that is very scorpionic as well. I'm seeing like paintings made with really dark, rich reds or black. I think people notice you have a tendency to gravitate more to the darker things of life, or like the taboo parts of life, the things that people don't want to talk about. You might love astrology, or you might be extremely spiritual. Or maybe you're like a sex worker, or you really, like, you do some sort of like public taboo thing that people witness, and it takes a special person or like a very niche group of people to like the same things you guys do. But either way, guys, people are seeing you as a hotshot right now. I don't know what you're doing. Maybe you're working out a lot, eating healthy, going to the gym. Whatever you're doing, you are glowing from the inside out. People look at you and they feel like they need to be on their best behavior around you. I don't know. It's just like, I don't know if maybe you guys have come to accept a certain part of yourself, or something broke through your hard shell and got to your heart in a really good way, and you're just walking with a more lighter feet, or a lighter pep in your step. Because people are really seeing a sort of transformation happening here, and transformation has been talked about in both pile 1 and pile 2 now, so I wonder if more will pop out in pile 3 later. Or maybe the collective is just going through a really transformative period right now. But I feel like you're genuinely walking around with this sort of king-queen energy. I mean, we have the King Protea and then the peacock. I mean, that's the most beautiful bird, you know? You are treating yourself with dignity and respect, even when other people don't treat you with dignity and respect. And people are really noticing how you take care of yourself. It's not that you won't go out of your way to ask for help, but it's just like you've realized the power of not needing anyone and stepping into your independence and meeting your dark shadows and nurturing yourself from the ground up to become powerful. There's a deep, rich power within this group that people feel when they're around you. People feel like you're really cool, like they're worried about what they say around you. They want to make sure that they don't hurt your feelings, even though I don't think this is a group where you easily get your feelings hurt just because of the Scorpion energy, but people, maybe because you are quiet around people, they don't know how to gauge your personality, and I feel like a lot of people want to be your friends, or a lot of people want to be around you and get to know you, but I feel like you guys are very selective about who you let into your energy, who you let really get to know you and spend time with, because you are so comfortable being alone. You don't need anyone. You're okay with being selective and going without human connection for a while. People might be scared to say like a joke that might ruffle your feathers just because they don't understand you. But I feel like your close friends, they know that you are hilarious and you're the type of person that would be there for anyone if they needed it. Like when you connect with someone and you get really close, so I heard they're whipped. I don't know, you will know about that if you are. But like when you are in a relationship, I feel like you would go out of your way to protect this person or to be a solid rock for that person. Anything that they needed, you would adapt to their needs. But that doesn't necessarily have to mean whipped. And whipped isn't a bad thing all the time. It's just if the other person isn't comfortable with that, to each their own, but whatever. I think you've done a lot of work to meet your shadow self or to meet the darker parts of your personality. And so you almost live with that darkness in a really good way. Like you recognize that there's always going to be darkness, just like there's always going to be light. And instead of fearing like a shadow side of you, you've learned to live with it, and you've learned to be like, I don't care about this anymore. I don't care what people think. Everyone has lights and darks, and the quicker I can become comfortable and not scared of like what fears me about myself, then the less fuel people have to fire me up, I think people have realized a shift in your personality where it's like you're not longing for that connection. You're not longing to have someone near. You're not begging for attention, and that's causing people to like switch up around you and almost question whether you want them in their life anymore or whether they match up to your standards. I think you're causing people to step on or to walk on their toes a lot, not in the eggshells way, but in a I better act right and treat pile 2 right because you deserve to be treated right, but B, they don't want you to disappear because they know you're a valuable person to have in their life. I feel like you guys dress really well. You guys look really good. This is a group where just aesthetics are on point, body on point, face on point. You take care of yourself. Or if you have been taking care of yourself, it's definitely showing and people have a lot of eyes on you. I feel like you're also very hyper vigilant and people can feel that or see that about you because all these feathers on the peacock kind of look like eyes, if you see that. If I can get it focused. I don't know how to do this, but you see how all the feathers kind of look like eyes? I don't know if people like to watch you or if you like to people watch, but they've noticed that you're very observant and you know a lot of things that people wouldn't peg you to know about. Like you're out of the box and you're different in a really good way. And they know you've found self-confidence, self-assuredness to a point that people just want to make sure they match up to your energy. You might be dealing with some like pedestaling sort of behavior where people are putting you above themselves. And that could be something that you don't like, but I do see that possible for this group. I think people know you can't be tamed, or they talk about how you can't be tamed. They think that They think that you're going places and you're going big places soon. I think with this transformation, you know that it's time to leave a lot of the old behind and step into a new. And your inner and outside is starting to shift on your person, like on yourself. And now your outward reality is getting ready to shift, and people are just like hanging on, waiting to see whether you're going to keep them around or not. That's very interesting. Let's go ahead and shift over to tarot. I plan today's reading to be a little bit shorter, so we are going to have a shorter video. I hope that's okay. It's just what works for me right now. I'm doing what works for me. I'm taking care of me, and you guys should take care of you as well. Let's go ahead and do some shuffles. Okay, let me just do some of this. The shuffles are really good today. Like, are you kidding me? The deck is ready to go for you guys. I'm excited to see what people are saying about you. You know, we already had a little bit of a look ahead, but this is gonna tell us the specifics. So, okay, spirit guides, angels, ancestors, and divine white light beings that watch over the collective of Pile 2. What are people saying behind Pile 2's back about Pile 2? What are people saying about Pile 2? If it takes long, I'm just gonna like choose the top card. We have the Unknown reversed. We have the Veil reversed. What are people, oh hello Cricket. What are people saying behind Pile 2's back, Spirit? I'm gonna take the top. We have the Four of Lotuses. What are people saying behind Pile 2's back? I'll take this. We have the Geomanger. If you know how to say that, then great. I don't. So like I said, this is roughly based on tarot. Obviously, Four of Lotuses is going to represent Four of Cups, but let me look in the guidebook for these. So the Unknown represents the Judgment card in the Major Arcana. So with Judgment reversed, that can talk a little bit about self-judgment, insecurity, and kind of like picking yourself apart. And it's interesting because I just saw a flash of an image in my head, and it was a bird picking its feathers out. And so I wonder if people around you wonder if you're doing all this self-improvement or you're pushing yourself hard because you're not happy with who you are. And listen, self-criticism and things that we're not happy with about ourselves is sometimes one of the best ways to motivate ourselves to change. So it's not like people are criticizing you for changing due to self-dislike. I won't say self-hatred because that's pretty hard, that's pretty out there. But I wonder if people have noticed that you're extremely hard on yourself. Maybe, like, I'm also seeing an image. Today is gonna be an image day, sorry guys. I'm seeing an image of a person working really hard on one thing to the point where they're almost like a control freak, where they're working on a project, say, and they're managing everyone's roles, even though they weren't like designated with a manager role, you know? It's like you're taking charge, but people feel like you feel this unexplainable pressure to be perfect all the time. And I think people just want you to know that they are there for you, going back to that message of like you guys keeping a hard outer shell or being okay with being alone. Some people might think that you close down to connection now because people were mean to you in the past, or people have done things to you in the past that showed you human connection was not a great thing to have alongside you. And people think you do still hold some beliefs from that time period that are maybe blocking you from getting closer to those around you. I think people also just want you to know when they talk behind your back, I'm hearing they're such a great worker. They're so determined to get things done. They are the king. They appear confident, but I think there are maybe some of your closer friends, when they talk to like your circle of friends behind your back, they're like, I know something's going on behind the scenes. I know they're holding on to some things of the past, and they might be criticizing themselves. This is you, we're talking about you. And your friends are just trying to give you the space that you need to work through things, but they also don't ever want you to feel like you have to do it alone. They want you to know that they're there for you, and they want you to know that they don't want you to judge yourself based on other people's actions from the past. I think you guys might be struggling with some trauma of people not being the nicest to you or not being faithful, and people are just coming through to say, like, we will never pressure you to open up, but if the least that you can do is not judge yourself based on what happened. Very interesting message there. With the veil reverse, I do feel, so there's a couple different perspectives of people talking about you when it comes to the veil reverse. The veil represents the star. And what's being shown to me is like the people who know you really deeply, they have a different perspective of this and they talk about things differently versus the people who you really don't let get close to you, like they have a different perspective, and I'm gonna tell you. So as far as the friends who are close to you, who know you, who respect you, who love you, they're saying like you are really going through it. It's noticeable, guys. I feel like this sort of energy here means that you carry it well, but they can absolutely tell that you're going through it. There's also like your friends might say that you're very picky with who you choose to let into your life, which is a good thing, but they feel like you might be a little fault-findy-y. Like you're not very trusting of other people, and I think your friends just want to see you be a little bit more open with people and not just run away at the first sign of grief or the first red flag that you see, because I'm hearing your friends and they're like, bro, pile 2 has so many red flags, but we love them anyway, just like everyone else has red flags. And I think they're wanting you to take some pressure off of like judging other people is how it's being presented to me, because sometimes when we go through great betrayals or we've experienced the worst of humanity, we're not going to trust people easily, and sometimes we can slip into this habit of forcing people to run through tests or like almost like dangling your affection and your love on a stick until they do what you want, which in and of itself is a sort of form of manipulation. And I'm only saying this, guys, because I was in the same boat 2 years ago, and it really divided my sense of human connection because I was so rigid with who I would allow into my life, and at the first sign of a red flag, it was like, oh, nope, stay away from me, I don't want you in my life, go away. I would ghost them, and I still feel guilty to this day, but I also, through therapy, have learned that is a trauma response due to everything that I have gone through, and I think you guys are dealing with the same thing, and so your friends are like, we love them unconditionally, but they would be surrounded, like so many people would love to get to know pile 2 if they would just let people in. And I think the strong message here, just something that I've learned from therapy is that you have the strength to walk away whenever you want. You know, if you let people in close to you, you are allowed to walk away eventually, but you'll never really truly understand someone and the complexities of being alive, you know. I think it's really easy for us to fall into the trap of looking at our own lives and kind of being like, oh, I have it worse, or like, why is everything so difficult for me? And then we forget that everyone on this earth is a human being with their own thoughts, experiences, and traumas and past, and we forget that other people might have gone through the exact same thing and they just react in a different way. So there is a little bit of a message there for that. As far as the other group of people who talk about you, I think these are the groups of people that feel almost burned by you. These are the groups of people who you haven't let into your life, who you might have judged really quickly. I feel like they say you're very judgmental or you're not very compassionate. And this is obviously, again, other people's projections, and so take this with a grain of salt, take it how you will. Maybe this is a specific person that you know and you're like, they didn't have a right to be in my life anyway. And if you feel that, then kudos to you. That is the message. If not, here's some more. I think because you guys are very quiet, some people think you're not grateful for the opportunities you have around you. And I just want to say, like, it's the same thing, like, other people who are more outgoing and stuff, they see someone who's quiet and then they think the worst about them, which is so bullcrap, you know. I'm not gonna say more about that, but yeah, there is a message of some people who don't understand you or who don't react the same way as you do. They might say you're ungrateful or things like that. But let's move on from that energy. It's always hard telling people what people are saying behind their backs, because sometimes I'm like, oh, they don't need to know this, but they came to me for the truth, so I'm gonna give you the truth. Four of Lotuses. This represents the Four of Cups. I think some people are saying you're not recognizing the opportunities in front of you, and going back to like opportunities for connection and maybe accidentally pushing people away due to, you know, being careful and hypervigilant. I think you might be doing that as well with like work opportunities. Maybe you're very dead set on a certain way of living, but right now it's just not feasible for you, and people are seeing you kind of like thrash around in the waves, if you will. Like, do you see on this card, the lotuses are kind of just being tossed around in the waves? Oh, the colors and the art on this card is so beautiful, but do you see how they're like being tossed around through the waves? I feel like people are saying you're allowing the waves to toss you around because you're refusing to go to the shoreline that's right in front of you. Like, there is a little bit of self-sabotage happening here, and people do talk about that a little bit. I don't know your specific situation, but I do feel work for some reason very strongly. It's like you're pushing yourself and you're pushing your, I'm hearing you're pushing your luck, but that, I don't know about that. I feel like you're pushing for one thing to work out the exact way that you want it to, and you're ignoring all of these opportunities that could help you stay afloat until you reach that big opportunity. Or it's like people feel like you're a little out of balance. Maybe you put a lot of energy into one area of your life and you let other areas fall back, and maybe people are like, maybe that's why they're so unhappy, you know, especially if you're the type of person who is working all the time to ignore traumas or to ignore what's going on in your brain. It's like your friends, the people closest to you want you to know that it's okay to face your fears, and it's okay to take a leap of faith for new opportunities. I feel like you guys are very strategic, very grounded. You might have a lot of earth placements, because I do feel a very Capricorn-y or like rigid energy here, but we also do have double Scorpion, so it could be Scorpio. I do feel like there is some sort of wave coming through to crash you down. Either you're going through it or it's coming, and like I always say, if this message freaks you out, it's not for you. If you've been feeling an energy of like a big change coming your way, then take this energy or take this message. But there is a big like shocking event or a wave coming through, and we do have eclipse season coming up in early October, so maybe watch out for big changes there. But I feel like it's time for things to shift in the way you do your day-to-day routines, or shift in your perspective of others, and something might come about to kind of rock the boat a little bit. I don't know, I think people want you to open up more and to not be so criticizing, because the reason you're criticizing others is because you're criticizing yourself so harshly. You have such high expectations for yourself, and you think that if you have to hold yourself to these high expectations, then everyone else should hold themselves to these high expectations. And I do feel a sense of like, there's going to be a realization coming soon of, you don't have to hold yourself to these high expectations. You're the one keeping yourself a little miserable right now by pushing other people away from keeping such high expectations. I don't know if this is making sense. This isn't meant to criticize you. This is just what other people are saying about you. Okay. The Geomancer, I don't know. Geomancer? I don't know what that is. So the Geomancer represents the Queen of Pentacles, and can I just show you this? I don't know why, but I'm hearing, hold on, let me show you the card so you can see what I'm talking about. Do you see how she's like having coins fall out of her fingertips like this? I feel like people think you guys have a lot of money or you have a lot of resources around you that other people don't have. It feels like things just plop at your feet. I think people could be a little jealous that you have so many resources or you get so much help, but it's like, I don't know, that's for them to figure out and not me. I'm just the messenger. I feel like people, even if you don't have a whole bunch of resources, people look at you and they think you're rich, they think you dress well, you take care of yourself well, you have a wonderful home. I'm hearing like your pets look like well-groomed, well upkept. I don't know, that's an interesting message. I feel like people feel like they don't know how to help you because it's not like you're lacking in financial resources, so they don't really feel the need to help you there or like you would accept help there. But with such a harsh outer shell and like taking care of yourself so well, it's kind of like, do they even want help? Do they want us here? So if you do come to a point where you're like, why does no one talk to me about these issues? Why does no one blah 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 ask me how I'm doing? You might want to ask yourself, like, have you, how do I say this? Like, maybe go out of your way to tell people that you're struggling with something because you mask it very well and people don't always understand that you need or that you would ever accept help. I think you guys have this very strong, like a strong stoic personality, and people kind of think that you don't want other people's help. So if you do ever want help, reach out to people. Anyway, let's finish off with your last message. This is going to be the Eros card. I think this is also saying, because Eros does represent love as a desire, eroticism, and sensuality, I think you guys are a lot hotter than you think you are. Or you just need to know that people look at you and they know that you're looking good. I mean, you're the peacock, you're the most beautiful bird out there, according to society. This is interesting. I feel kind of called to just like read from the guidebook and let you kind of piece together. This says, though Eros can be depicted as unbridled sexuality and eroticism, a more contemplative understanding of this archetypal energy leads us to the root of desire itself. What do we long for? Why are we awakened by love? What makes us hesitate in the face of intimacy? I think those are good questions to leave you with. This reading is going to be a little bit longer than the others, but it is what it is, I think. Anyway, pile 2, this is all I have for you guys. I hope you resonated with this reading. If you did, feel free to give me a like, comment, subscribe. I would love to have you join the Mellow Yellow Tarot family for later videos in the future. But with that being said, I'm going to leave you here. Have a wonderful day, pile 2. Bye-bye. Hey Pile 3, thanks so much for being here with me today for your reading. If you chose the empty room, then that's how you know you made it to Pile 3. This is going to be our last card, so it's going to live right over here in the corner. It's going to chill for a little bit until we're done. There is, again, no breakdown. I just pulled everything at once, and we're just gonna see what comes out. But thanks so much for being here with me today for your reading. Let's go ahead and spread out your oracles. So your first card, you got the Moth. Try and get this in focus. The Moth, very pretty card. Then we have the Buffalo, and the Buffalo says honor, abundance, and generosity. And we have the Horse. Cute little horse. And your final card, we have the Gardenia, and this says abundance. Very pretty. Okay, let me just make these beautiful and then we will get going. So I just want to start out. When I was reading the meanings of all these cards, I got this strong sense that your spirit guides are here, and a lot of this perspective is from your spirit guides, but this is also from the perspective of those who are really close to you, like soul family. This isn't, I feel like your spirit guides don't want you to know what the people around you are saying specifically, because I'm hearing like the people around you right now, they don't matter in the end. At the end of the day, like their perspective of you does not matter, because I feel like you guys are really walking alongside with spirit at this time, and you're making moves that other people maybe don't understand. Like maybe you guys have done a big personality shift recently, because you're just like, I'm tired of trying to fit in with all these people who don't walk with spirit, or all these people who are just full of hatred and full of drama. I think you guys are deliberately making a choice to separate yourself from this group, and I feel like this group, some of them might have perspectives of you that literally are not true. It's just based on their own projections. And as a way to protect you, spirit is like, you don't need to hear about them right now. Let me tell you what you are and how proud we are of you, because this spread is very positive. And I do want to say, if you feel like you have really strong soulmate family around you, or a very strong close to you relationship partner, this could also be their perspective of you, or what they're saying about you. But I do feel like spirit is kind of shielding you right now from the perspective of others, because I think it's full of projection that would not be helpful to your growth, and it's not something you need to hear. Okay, with that warning out of the way, if you really want to know what people are saying about you, you might have to find a different video. But yeah, this is definitely going to be from your spirit team or your soul family. Spirit is saying you guys are a force to reckon with. There is literally nothing that you won't challenge yourself to. I think you guys are masters of picking a goal or picking a route and dedicating yourself to that until you start seeing growth, until you realize your potential in that subject, whatever it is. I think Spirit has said, or Spirit has seen you time and time again challenge yourself to some of the most difficult things you could do, and you've succeeded. You've risen above all of the challenges, and you've now become one of the better people at this subject. Like, maybe this is a sport, maybe this is a thing in school, maybe this is a job. You will know specifically what it is that has been difficult, and now you're kind of reaping the rewards from putting your head down and working really hard towards it. But Spirit is saying, like, they want you to realize how hardworking you are. The work ethic that you have developed is like none other. And maybe you guys in the past were sort of the people who couldn't put your head down, couldn't be focused on one thing. Maybe you guys have ADHD, or you're on the spectrum. I am on the spectrum. I just want to say, guys, I am autistic. I finally got my diagnosis. It took months of working with one doctor who really, really wanted to dissect my case and make sure that I was being diagnosed properly, because throughout my life I've been diagnosed with BPD, ADHD, I've been diagnosed with depression, anxiety, OCD, like everything out there, because people, I think nowadays, just want to throw something at someone and just get them out the door so they can get paid. But this doctor really heard my concerns, really sat down with me, and we found out I am autistic. So I just want to say this is a welcoming space for everyone. But I think you guys might have dealt in the past of not realizing your potential, or feeling like the world just didn't work with you. Like you were so different that there was no way that you could make success in this world, because you just are so different, and it was so challenging for you. And I think you guys have worked really hard to find ways to make the world work for you when it really doesn't. And you've really, like, this takes immense strength and dedication. A lot of failures. I wouldn't be surprised if you guys are the type, like, in high school, you were a nobody. You were kind of like, everyone looked down upon you, or people didn't see something special in you. And now, it's like, you've realized your potential. I don't know if you guys have just come out of a really difficult cycle where it was kind of all on the backs of your shoulders and you just kind of had to push through and make it work for you, and you did. And Spirit is just so proud of you. It's like this situation was supposed to show you that you can do anything you set your mind to, no matter how hard or difficult it gets. Because it is, I do feel like for this group, there is some sort of limitation that makes getting things done or being productive or, realizing your potential difficult because the world or the systems that are currently in place don't work for you. But whatever you just did, whatever you've been doing, I hope it's showing you, Spirit wants you to know that you are so capable. There's nothing you can't do. If you did this, imagine all of the other things you're going to do. This is the hardest thing you've done, and you aced all the tests. I do feel like you guys were kind of let off leash, so to say, and you were just kind of forced to figure things out, and you did it so gracefully and so well. Like, Spirit is just so proud of you guys. And they say, like, the difference between you and others is the fact that you don't give up. You don't make excuses for yourself. It is so easy, I think. For me, I could use so many things as an excuse as to why I haven't realized my goals, But I don't. I sit there and I say, yeah, I have all of these issues. Yeah, I have all of these difficulties, but that's not going to stop me. And that's the spirit that you guys have. You never give up. And that's why you're going to realize everything that you've ever wanted in this life, because you understand that the only person who can make it happen is you. And of course, Spirit helps us along the way, but you guys have really realized the potential of yourself. And now nothing can stop you. This is so exciting. I do feel with the buffalo, Spirit is highlighting in the past people not respecting you or not honoring you, not seeing the beautiful gift of a human being that was in front of them. Because when you think of the story of the buffalo, I mean, we hunted them to almost extinction, and we didn't appreciate their grace and their beauty, and now it's like people are trying to protect them and shield them and make things better. And I do feel like you guys might be struggling with people coming out of the woodworks to try and apologize to you or make things right with you. And that is your complete, you have the ball in your court. You're allowed to do with that what you will. But it's I'm hearing little too late, because when you needed them the most, they ridiculed you. They left you out for dead. They didn't care about protecting you. And now that you have been able to protect yourself, you've realized everything that you need. You don't need anyone else to protect you. Now people are trying to come back and be like, oh, I'm so sorry. Let me be here for you. And you're like, I don't need you. I don't need you here anymore. I think people feel, if there's one thing that people are talking about right now about you, is how sorry they feel for not recognizing who you were. You were a packaged gold right in front of them, but because they didn't want to peel back the layers, they said that was too tough. Now they're seeing you shine in front of the world, and they're like, oh, God, I really missed that opportunity. And they're just feeling sorry for not recognizing who you were all along. I think people have projected onto you so much throughout your life because you are different. You walk with a different brain, or you just see things differently. And it's now you've got life figured out, and people know you don't need them. And they just feel sorry for themselves that they can't have you in their circle anymore, or they can't have you like they used to. They can't have access to you like they used to, and they do feel sorry for how they treated you and the projections they placed on you. I'm even hearing if some of you are super spiritual, maybe they thought that you were crazy, or listen, a lot of times I think people who are spiritual get dogged on by most of society nowadays as being crazy or whatever. The crazy girl likes astrology. And now that astrology and spirituality is becoming a big thing and everyone wants to learn about it now, I don't know, people are realizing their faults and how shit it is to judge people before you actually know them. I don't know. This is a very juicy and interesting reading. I think people are seeing you as abundant and as creating this own little castle for yourself. You've created a space that respects you and honors your dignity, and I think it allows you to show both sides of yourself, because with this gardenia there's like a white flower and a black flower, and it's almost kind of split down the middle. And Spirit is saying, like, maybe you guys are the type to mask all day if you are neurodivergent, or you just put on like a face, a persona that you, to hide the suffering or to hide what you're going through, because you've learned that people don't care. You know, unfortunately, sometimes we're surrounded with people who say they're pro mental health, or say that they are accepting of people's disabilities or differences, but then once they're faced with someone who's different or has a disability, that's when the true colors really show out. And I think you've learned that you have to put on a mask, or you have to perform in front of others in order to be accepted. And I just see you rising above this, rising past this, to a point where you're allowed to just be yourself all the time, and no one can have a weight over your head for doing that. Some of you guys in the past have been scared of being yourself, because when you were yourself in the past, people might have betrayed you, people might have gone out of their way to like get you fired from a job or get you expelled from a school, things like that, just because you were different and they weren't accepting, and so they just saw you as bad because you were different, you know? And I think you've learned to have to perform or have to act a certain way in order to be accepted in society. And I just feel like you guys are going to be rising past this point in your life where you have to hide. You have to hide who you truly are. And Spirit is saying, like, there's things coming on the way to you. You won't have to keep yourself small all the time. I know this is safety right now. This is for your life, your livelihood. Maybe you have to perform for a job, like you have to keep a mask on at work, and then when you go home, you're just exhausted because you're having to pretend to be someone you're not. And like, Spirit is saying, help is on the way to you. You don't have to be hidden in the dark all the time. I think what's interesting to me, we have the moth here. People love butterflies, right? But then they dislike moths, and they think they're dirty and gross and ugly and scary. I don't know, maybe not everyone, but I've noticed moths have a weird reputation, and it's interesting to me because butterflies and moths are like literally pretty much the same thing. You know, they look the same most of the time, and moths are just as beautiful, but they come out at night, and for some reason people just have a bad perception of moths. And I feel like you guys have dealt with that, where you're like, I have the same colors as the butterfly, I look the same as the butterfly, I'm beautiful, I just come out at night, things work differently for me. And people are just ridiculing you for that, or almost like blacklisting you in society because you are so different. And it's like, there is help on the way to you. It is coming. You won't have to pretend anymore. You won't have to be something you're not anymore just to survive. There is going to come a time where you are so abundant, either in finances or like something is going to happen to where you are celebrated for your differences and you don't have to hide. That's just the main message coming through here. But I don't know, maybe Spirit was just like, Pile 3 needs a quick message from us, because I feel like that was a big spew. They were just kind of channeling through me. Let's go ahead and bring out the tarot. Do a couple shuffles. I do feel very energized by your energy and your spirit team. I think they are sending helping hands to you soon. Whatever that means to you. I do feel like if you've been praying for freedom, or if you've been praying for circumstances to shift, I think that is coming to you soon. Okay. I don't even know what to ask, because this has mainly been like from your spirit guide's perspective. I'll just ask what I normally ask, and we'll see what happens. What are people saying about pile 3? What are people saying about pile 3 spirit? Okay, 2 popped out. Let's see. We've got the Ace of Birds and the 9 of Lotuses. And then, what are people saying about pile 3? That popped out. One more. Okay. We've got the Ace of Embers and the Cosmic Tree reversed. Look at how beautiful these cards are, guys. I just love these decks so much. Okay, let's channel. If there are questions you have, or if there's something that you just don't understand, maybe it's you don't understand why people don't like you, or you don't understand why you can't fit in, or why you can't make something happen, there is a huge breakthrough on its way to you. Not only mentally, but I do feel like this is coming physically, because we also have the Ace of Wands here, or the Ace of Embers. This represents the Ace of Swords with Ace of Birds. New beginnings are freshly on their way to you. You guys might be seeing 111, 1111. Change is on the way, even 555. Maybe you guys have been seeing 555 too. You guys have prayed, asked for answers, asked for clarity, and things are coming to you. You are seeing the way out. You are seeing the middle ground. And it's like, maybe this is why Spirit didn't want to hear about what other people are saying about you, because it really doesn't matter. Like, you are going to be changing up your social circle here soon. You are going to be making huge changes. You won't have to be around people you hate anymore. You won't have to be around people who make you feel small, or who you have to conform to their personality in order to survive, you know? You no longer have to put up with this anymore. I think you're seeing a way out, or an opportunity is coming to you in the physical, or a new idea is going to, like, sorry, my cat is like sniffing the candle and that concerned me. New opportunities or new ideas are coming to you, and it's going to start this blaze inside of you that you can't control, and it's going to bring you so much more abundance, and you're going to be able to get away from these people who you no longer resonate with anymore. I think you've learned all the lessons you needed to. You've aced all the challenges. With the 9 of Lotuses, it's time for you to step into independence, you know? The 9 of Lotuses, it's the 9 of Cups. And it's honoring a feeling of independence, feeling like you can take care of yourself, feeling like you don't genuinely need anyone around you because you are so abundant with everything that you've created. It's a feeling that starts within you. And once you feel this independence, which I think is rising within you, that's when your outward reality starts to reflect back to you, and you start to see more independence, more freedom in your life. Some of you guys, your business is going to be taking off where you become your own boss. You're going to be able to make that transition. Some of you are going to have an idea to just go visit someplace, or maybe you see a posting for like an audition and you're just like, I'm just going to say shits and giggles, let's just go, just for funsies. You are going to get the part. Your life is going to change. Maybe you apply for a job on a whim that you're like, I'm not qualified for this, but I think it would make me happier. Let's just see. You are going to get that position. I think Spirit is just asking for you to have patience right now, and to understand that everything you want is on its way to you. There are just things that need to line up, and you need to be ready for it as well. Keep doing what you're doing, keep going, keep pushing forward, and never give up like you always do. You never give up, and they know that you won't, so these things are just automatically going to come to you. The cosmic tree represents the hermit, and with it reversed, this is saying it's time to get unstuck. It's time for you to push forward. It's time for you to put yourself out there and to be you authentically, because that is what's going to draw people into you. I genuinely do feel like some of you guys have a business or something where you just can be your most authentic self, and the sooner you break into who you always are and like tear down the walls you've had to build up for normal society, people are going to flock to you, because they recognize the authenticity, and that's what matters. I think people are getting tired of the corporate world. People are getting tired of the rules and regulations, and they just want authenticity. They want to find someone who feels real to them, who builds a connection, who feels like family or friends. And I think you guys are the perfect people to do that. I think you make people feel welcome. You make people feel like they are in a non-judgmental space, where they can just be themselves and be open and honest about everything that they're dealing with, you guys would be great therapists. But yeah, Spirit just wants you to know there are wonderful, amazing things on their way to you. Let's go ahead and wrap up the reading with the empty room. So this card talks all about sitting and waiting for things to happen. I think while we know this change is coming soon, a lot of the hard times about this is waiting for it to happen, right? Waiting for our manifestations to come to us. And right now, the empty room is like sitting in this void, and it looks empty, right? It's also about trusting Spirit that good things are on their way to you. When you're sitting in a room and there's nothing there, it can be easy to psych yourself out and be like, no, nothing's coming, or this art is never gonna take off. Like, there's so much self-doubt right now that you could reform and channel it into your practice. Sometimes it's not about the effort you put in, because I think your guys' effort is right where it needs to be. You guys are making all of the needed changes and all of the needed actions in your life. You are doing exactly what you need to do. It's just about timing right now, waiting for divine timing. And I think this reading is just here to reassure you that good things are coming, that the life that you want to live is possible. You can do it. You will do it. Okay. Pile 3. That is all I have for you today for your reading. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, feel free to give me a like, comment, subscribe, whatever you don't want to do. I can't force you. It's all up to you. If you did enjoy, I would love to have you join the Mellow Yellow Tarot family for more readings in the future, but I am going to leave this reading here. Thanks so much, Pile 3. Have a wonderful afternoon, evening, and good night. Bye-bye.